Welcome to the Horror Hangout podcast, where two bearded film fans watch the best and worst horror movies of all time. My name is Luke Kondo with a K, and I'm joined by
Mr. Ben Errington. Sorry, I was waiting for you to say my regular co-host.
Did I never say that? What did I say?
You just didn't say it. You just went, and I'm joined by.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, well, you know, it's
Way to throw me off, man.
Yeah, I don't know. It's late. It's not. It's early. It's what, 27th, middle of the day. Bit later.
It's
than that.
27th, which is basically, it is basically the middle of the day. What are you playing at?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, man. Yeah. So what are we doing? What's going on? We've got a new list.
Yeah, so we've been sort of treading water for a few weeks, haven't we? Just reviewing any old shit.
Yeah.
That comes to mind, and now we're going to give ourselves a little bit of direction, and we found a new list of horror films.
The 100 best horror films of all time, as per IGN.com. What does IGN stand for? Great.
And it like International Games Network. I don't know.
Okay,
That's right. It was mainly.
reasonable.
It was mainly right. It's Imagine Games Network. I was close.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was mainly
okay.
mainly games originally, wasn't it? And then they went, "Oh, we'll do films as well." And you went, "You greedy bastard!"
Greedy nonce.
I do like a bit of IGN, though, don't you?
Oh yeah. I tend to
It's
go
greedy nonce.
I tend to go to their game reviews on YouTube a lot.
Yeah.
For games I'm
Yeah,
never
yeah.
going to play.
Did you get like six or seven like minutes of just quality content? I find.
Yeah, it seems to be reasonable, and it tends to be informative. You get to see the game, and then you get a nice point system review. It's basically what we should do for horror films, but like we spin it out for an hour and a half each time.
Yeah. Well, we could reduce it to 5 or 6 minutes if you want. If you're really sick to death of talking to me.
No, I couldn't do that. I couldn't boil it down so much. But dude, what have you? Before we get into all that stuff, what have you been watching?
Well, I've spent the last sort of like 5 days stuck in the house, unwell, with
Someone
some sort of
locked
flu.
you in.
Someone locked me in, and I've basically been in a single area horror film,
Yeah.
single location horror film of my own. It's like Cabin Fever crossed with Buried with Ryan Reynolds, where I've just been basically going insane. And
That's got to have been done, right? Someone just trapped in a room.
yeah,
got
I'm
to
sure
be.
it has. What about Silent Hill? The Room. That was a good
Well,
game.
yeah, but he gets out of the room through little
Yeah, but-
holes in the wall.
He gets out of the room into like some nightmare world. I feel like I've been in that nightmare because I've been ill. I've been like having really weird like light sleeps and lucid dreams and stuff.
Yeah.
I've kind of been in a horrible nightmare world.
Have you been
for
in
5
that thing
days.
where you go to sleep and then you go, and you sort of
Yeah.
pop out of the bed?
Yeah, and my nose has been so stuffed up that I keep waking up like
Really? That's not
literally like I've not been breathing for hours.
good. That's
And
one
the
of
only
them
the only
Bristol
place
strangling ghosts. It's
yeah,
getting you.
the only place I've been other than my house is the local Asda, which is kind of worse in a way. It's got a
Why
lot
is it
of
worse? It's nice. It's like
It's
a
got a
nice
lot
and
of our-
refreshing air cons on.
no, I don't know. It's just full of mentals.
I've been to that Asda, mate, and I thought it was all right.
Oh yeah, you have. Where would you rate it in Asda's?
9.7.
Oh,
IGN.com.
Jesus, that's a high one.
They're all
You
pretty
better
high.
tell them that. You could probably rate that on Google. So go and do it.
Okay, done.
Yeah. But apart from that, I've just been I've plonked myself in front of the TV and watched kind of any old shit. You know when you're ill and you kind of just like go,
Yeah.
I really don't want to give it too much thought, so I've kind of watched any old crap.
There's
I
sometimes when
watched-
there's a good film and you think, I don't want to watch it now because I don't want to put the effort
No.
in to watch it. I don't want to
Yeah.
think too much.
Because otherwise I'll just be like, that was rubbish.
Yeah.
What did I see? So I watched Luther series 5, I believe. So there's 4 episodes. One
Carol,
every
come on,
night.
Carol. What's the name?
Yeah.
Alice. Alice.
Alice.
Is that- Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I think this show, like I don't know who's writing this. I feel a bit bad. I'm going to slate whoever's writing it. Whoever's writing it, it's just so Hollywood and so look. It used to be quite a gritty police procedural set in London, with twists and turns which you didn't see
Yeah.
coming. That is just like a twist or a turn every 10 minutes, and
Paul Hollywood is his doing.
it's Paul Hollywood's doing.
Yeah.
Soggy bottom. Basically, it needs direction. It's got. I mean, I'm sure someone's directed it, but it's got like 2 plots that kind of overlap each other, and they're
Okay.
both sort of like fighting for attention. And both of them are like, oh wait a minute, we're gonna make this plot really, really complicated now by throwing this in there, and then you just go, "Pah." just don't care.
So how many times do we get to see Idris Elba in his boxing bottoms?
No times in his bottoms.
Interesting.
What do you mean?
Like
In his like boxer shorts?
yeah.
No times.
His
He's
boxing
always
bottoms.
he's always got so many layers on. He's always got a suit on and a really long coat. The only things that this show kind of does well is like introducing like a horror element to like basic London life. So like buses, tubes, dark streets, well populated areas. It kind of just puts this like serial killer spin in London, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
I've not really watched it. Have they done any Jack the Ripper stuff yet? I feel like that's
No.
something, like everything has to touch on Jack the Ripper if it's in London.
I mean, some of it's a bit Jack the Ripper-esque in terms of some of the murders, but some of the killers they've got are pretty interesting and pretty cool. But I don't know, they just throw in different characters like gangsters and
Yeah.
psychopaths and all this stuff, and sometimes it's a bit bloated. But this series more so than any before felt so Hollywood that I kind of checked
What,
out.
like more budget, you mean? Or like
Just in terms of like, not necessarily more budget, but just in terms of the way the stories went. You know what I mean, they kind of, as I said, they felt like gritty, sort of quite grounded police procedurals, and now they feel like there's a police officer running around, popping caps in people's ass,
yeah.
and gangsters taking people hostage, and just a load of nonsense, really. And there's a really good character played by Ruth Wilson, a sort of psychopath, quite a manipulative character called Alice Morgan, and she's great, and she was great in series 1, 2, and possibly 4, I think she was in. But they don't know what to do with her. They've just kind of got her on the outskirts of the story, and they'll go, "Oh, Alice could do something mental here. Let's get her to do something." And she does it, and then you're a bit like, "Well, what's she even doing there?"
Being mental. Just
Yeah,
gone
and
for
her,
a wee in the corner of the room.
yeah,
Just something mental.
do something mental. Oh, bloody! I've done a wee in the corner of the room. Did you see that?
Oh,
Idris
mental.
Elba's like, "Fuck it."
Yeah.
And the relationship between Luther and her
Yeah.
is supposed to be this really like complicated like love story, almost like they can't be together because one's a cop and one's a psychopath, one's a killer, all this shit. And after a while, you're just like, I don't give a fuck anymore. Get out of it.
Okay. So I won't watch it. I don't know. Just can't get into it. I'll give the first season a go.
First season is great, and there's also a book called
Luther.
something. It's called something, a Luther story. I can't remember what the title of it is.
Yeah.
But that's good. The book's good as well. And then the only other thing I've watched is the Bros documentary on BBC iPlayer, which is like unintentionally hilarious. I saw loads of like memes going around on the internet. I thought I've got to watch it. And basically, these guys, they just take each other so seriously, and everything they say they think is like super poignant and poetic,
Yeah.
but it's so cliche and sometimes just
Is it edited
so
in a
ridiculous.
way that it's taking them at face value? Do you know what I mean?
I don't. I guess so.
Okay.
I guess so. Yeah,
There's no
but you
laugh
can
track
tell.
then. So.
No, there's no laugh track. You
Okay.
can tell that they're like that in real life. They've got such a difficult relationship, and they just like argue over the most just pathetic little things.
Yeah.
And I just all I kept thinking throughout was, I mean, I'm sure they were great in the 80s. They did really well. But all I kept thinking was, how have they still got like an
Well,
audience?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like Matt Goss is like, he's got like a Las Vegas show. But there was nothing in this show which made me think, God, these guys are shit hot. All I thought was, this sounds shit. But yeah, you gotta watch it just for the like, it is hilarious. So some debates they get into, which are like, what are they talking about? It reminds me a little bit. It's a cross between, like, it's a bit like Spinal Tap.
That's what I was thinking it might be.
It's a bit like Some Kind of Monster, the Metallica documentary.
Yeah. Yeah.
In a way, where it's kind of like it shows them in not a very good light,
Okay.
but it's not massively detrimental to like the whole.
Do you think they would be happy with how it's come out?
Yes, because I think that they're quite unaware of themselves. They're not very self-aware. You know what I mean? People who are just a bit like, I'll say something, you'll be like, that sounds ridiculous, but you can imagine them watching it going, what a fucking legend I am.
Ah, yeah. I've come across really well there.
I come across really well there. Yeah, exactly. They just say like proper random things. Like there's one bit where they're telling a story about their childhood, like what happened when they're growing up, and they're like, well, one of our favorite toys was a dart. We just had a dart. We didn't have a dartboard. we just had a dart, and we love that dart. Like they're saying these things. You're like, it is like it's been written specifically for like a fly on the wall documentary comedy.
It sounds like it. It sounds like an episode of The Office. It sounds like we've been watching a lot
It's
of The
very,
Office recently. And
it's very much Office-like, definitely.
yeah.
It's very David. There are a lot of Brentisms that come out like over and over again.
I'll check it out.
Check it out.
So we've been watching a lot of The Office US version, which
Yeah.
is great. Are you a fan of The Office?
I've seen the UK Office like
Okay.
dozens and dozens of times, but I've never actually watched any
So
of the US
if you're a fan of the UK one, the first season is quite difficult to watch with the US one. But then
They recreate the episodes, right?
yeah. But then all the actors seem to find their characters really well, and it just gets like more and more insane and more ludicrous. And I actually prefer it to the UK one by quite a mile.
Right.
But so Rainn Wilson, that's right. Rainn Wilson plays Dwight Schrute, which is sort of like almost like psychopathic office worker. But I thought, okay, I think it's about time.
It's Gareth. It's like he's basically Gareth, yeah.
Yeah, but like times 10. So I thought, you know what? I'm in the mood to rewatch Super. James Gunn's Super from 2000. Mate, it's only from 2010. It's only 8 years ago. If you think about the films James Gunn's popped out since then, so Sliver, Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2, and that's about it. So it's like four films. But still, like if you watch Super, you can tell that it's just got almost no budget. There's James Gunn is in the film himself. Like it's really puerile and really sort of irreverent in the best way. Like it is. I think it's a shame
James Gunn's in it, is he?
Yeah, he plays the devil in because Rainn Wilson, the main character, is watching. Like there's like a Christian superhero, and James Gunn plays the devil in that TV show. But it's really irreverent, really punky, really sort of handmade in DIY. And it's basically the sort of like the story of Kick-Ass, which is a shame because I feel like this is better because it just goes absolutely batshit insane. And the reason I bring it up today because James Gunn, you can tell that his previous trauma experience stuff of like the gore effects is in Super. But like the last third, it becomes insanely gory. There's bits where Rainn Wilson's he like shotguns someone in the face, and then his head explodes and it just says "kapow" over the top. Like it just gets absolutely insane. But yeah.
Who else is in that? It's
Ellen Page plays the sidekick Balti, who rapes who rapes the main character. Like,
is she?
Yeah, have you seen Super before?
I've seen it, but like once, like a long time ago. So I remember there's a really shocking moment in regards to her, isn't there?
Yeah. No, and it's not even the rape. It's like it's something after that. But and then it ends with Kevin Bacon is in it. And Kevin Bacon is like plays his sort of sleazy self really well. But there's a bit at the end where I don't want to. It's like full on serial killer, horrific to watch, but also really funny, like in the most darkly comic way. But I think it crosses. It's for fans of horror and for fans of like superhero, you know.
Yeah, it's a genre film, definitely.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. But that's it. That's all I've watched. Other than that, I've been playing loads of games.
Yeah, me too, man.
So, should we crack on with the film today?
Yeah.
What we doing today?
Oh, have I not told you yet?
No, yeah.
So we're doing The Cell. The first. Is it number 100 on the IGN Top 100?
Number 100 is The Ring, which we did in episode 40. So this is 99.
So yeah, so basically we're not going to go over things we've already done because that'd be boring for everybody involved. So The Cell's number 99, yeah?
Yeah.
So The Cell is a 2000 science fiction horror film directed by Tarsem Singh in his directorial debut, starring Jennifer Lopez, Vince Vaughn, and Vincent D'Onofrio. D'Onofrio? How'd you say his name? I don't know if I've ever said it out loud.
In my head, I say D'Onofrio.
D'Onofrio. Maybe that's right. So basically, an FBI agent persuades a social worker who is adept with a new technology to enter the mind of a comatose serial killer in order to learn where he has hidden his latest kidnapped victim.
This is what IGN's Lauren Levin had to say. Striking a note somewhere between hallucinogenic nightmare and cop versus serial killer suspense thriller, The Cell made an instant impression on viewers through Tarsem Singh's vivid and surreal visual style. The premise, a cop trying to find a serial killer's next victim before she drowns in his jigsaw killer-esque contraption, is decent as is, but most of the film actually takes place inside the mind of the comatose killer, giving way to the film's artistic sets and sequences. The story is original, but it's the delivery that makes this film... Is the story original? I don't think it is. But it's the delivery that makes this film stand out within the realm of psychological horror. And he goes on to say,
Yeah.
Jennifer Lopez as child psychologist Catherine Dean is actually not bad, giving a sensitive and compassionate performance that helps keep the audience anchored throughout the disturbing story. And Vincent D'Onofrio is memorable as multiple facets of the serial killer's persona, from the pitiful youth to the menacing king. The film's parallel... Wow, this is an essay. The film's parallel storylines in the outside world and the killer's internal self-play against each other wonderfully, with the time limit of the search for the drowning girl lending a sense of urgency to all the indulgent and striking imagery. Those visuals are very effective at driving the already macabre subject matter deeper under the skin of the viewer. Oh, it's like a breath. Fucking hell. I feel like a Ace Ventura.
That's it. Basically, we don't need to talk about it now. We've covered everything.
Yeah. So it says number 9 on this list. It's only got 46% Rotten Tomatoes, 6.3 out of 10 on IMDb. It's alright. I mean, what do you think? Have you seen it
It's
before?
all right. Oh, it says it's like I have seen it before. Yeah, it says it's an original story, but it's very reminiscent of like 90s serial killer versus police officer, FBI agent thing. So it's very reminiscent of things like Silence of the Lambs, Seven.
I was going to see if we could say them at the same time.
I was going to say something like, is it Along Came a Spider or Kiss the Girls or something like that?
They're the Alex Cross ones, James Patterson ones. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's reminiscent of that, and then obviously some of the visuals, Tarsum Singh's sort of stuff is, I mean that you could say that's unique, because I was going to refer to his film The Fall, which I think was 6 years later.
Okay.
Okay. But yeah, it's sort of like that. But then it also does remind me of sort of like Clive Barker, like in places, like
yeah, I know what you mean.
Some stuff.
There's some sort of when it does the more like in the dreamscape, there's like labyrinthine esque painting elements, but that reminds me of Hellraiser.
Yep.
and
Guillermo del Toro as well.
Yeah.
In places, and then obviously Inception came a lot later, but I guess some of the themes are reminiscent of that, sort of like logging yourself into a dream. Maybe it's a bit like The Matrix, if that's the case.
Maybe the dream sequence stuff was obviously the more interesting part of the film. I did kind of feel like I was just watching a long Marilyn Manson music video at times.
Nothing wrong with that, mate.
No wrong with that at all. No, like
no wrong with that.
There's bits where I'm just expecting. You remember that song "Nobody's"? Because nobody's.
Oh right, yeah.
That song. I kept expecting that to sort of blast out, but that
would have been nice.
It's got some great visual stuff. I didn't remember Vince Vaughn being in this when I was watching it last time.
No, I don't remember that either. I've got very vague memories of this film.
You dreamt about it. You didn't actually watch it.
I didn't actually watch it. I dreamt about it. So was this the first film for D'Onofrio? Like it's his first sort of, apart from Full Metal Jacket, was it his first mainstream sort of? I don't know.
I don't know.
But yeah, so I mean, I think the jury's out with him in terms of an actor. For me, like a lot of people really liked him as Kingpin in Daredevil, but I find him a bit like unwatchable.
Really?
Yeah.
Hot take. I don't know, man.
Hot take.
I've always liked.
I love Kingpin as a character, but this was literally like monologue after monologue after monologue after monologue.
Yeah.
That I was like, you could just walk in and go, "All right, Wilson, how you doing, mate?" My dad used to ask me that, and then he just talk, and he just talk. He was taking himself. Yeah. I was just like, for fuck's sake! Imagine working for him. You never get off on time. You'd finish your shift at 5, and he'd be chatting for like 2 hours.
So he's done a lot of things, but how good some of the stuff was, I don't know. A lot of TV stuff early on.
Yeah.
Nothing massive though. Men in Black.
Yeah, he's Sugar Water guy, isn't he? Sugar Water.
Yes, he is. Yeah. I mean, that must be the first big one.
He looks so different in almost everything he's in.
I didn't. Yeah. So when I watched this, it took me a while to figure out that it was him. It's only when I saw him as like a bold king baby thing that I was like, oh, it's Kingpin.
A bold king baby. Hang on a minute. You're a bold king baby or something?
Yeah. It's good. I mean, he was great. Jennifer Lopez was pretty good, I think. I mean,
Jennifer Lopez was pretty standard. I've never really rated her as such in terms of being a actress. I mean, I couldn't name one thing she's superb in. Selena, maybe. I think she was good in that. Do you remember
Don't
that?
know that one.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, she had a sort of late 90s.
Rom-com thing going on. Made in Manhattan. I think that's it.
Yeah. Oh, Anaconda.
Yeah.
Out of Sight. Out of
Yeah,
Sight, I
yeah,
think
that
she
one.
was pretty good in.
Yeah.
That's a film with what's his name,
That's
isn't
a
it? Clooney.
Okay. Yeah.
Just a load of shit, really.
So is this so Vince Vaughn? I think his whole thing started in Rounders, and then
Yep.
this must be
He was
the
at-
new Psycho.
He was in The Lost World in like '97.
Oh yeah, that was really. I remember seeing that was quite early on in his career. So, so this must be still early on, but like he's so fresh looking. Like,
Ooh.
yeah, he doesn't look like. So I've seen Rolling Cell Block 99 a few times now, and I always think of that's my ideal. That's how I like my Vince Vaughn, but he looks young in this. Looks fresh.
Yeah, and nice tightly curled hair.
Yeah, I like them tight.
I just want to give it a little
Tussle.
touch,
Tussle.
tussle.
Yeah.
Just go, come on, Vince.
You just pick one out. Yeah.
Oh,
Other than that, I mean, there is more in the cast, but they're the three sort of main key players, really.
yeah. There's a few other sort of like cast members who are sort of like. There's a lot of FBI agents. One thing I noticed when I was looking through the cast list is that there's a character's name.
Yeah.
The character name is Gordon Ramsay.
What?
So Vince Vaughn's sort of like partner.
Yeah.
You'll recognize him. His character name is Gordon Ramsay, which
What?
yeah. So if you look down the list, it's the guy played by Jake Weber, and he did call him Gordon, but I don't think he referred to him by his full name at any point. But yeah, his name's Gordon Ramsay, which is an interesting. I mean, that's interesting to me. Dean Norris is in this from Breaking Bad,
Playing an FBI agent.
playing like an FBI or DA. Well, yeah, an FBI agent. Dylan Baker is like a doctor in this.
Okay. Yeah.
There's a lot of those actors, a lot of character actors, and people you're definitely going to recognise who kind of play these parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, she,
So J-Lo, so she plays. This is weird. So it's a child psychologist, but her expertise is is like going into child's minds and fixing like the problem from inside. Sort of like Inception, I guess.
yeah. So like kids who are like in comas
Yeah.
for whatever reason, she just has a little trip in there, turns up looking all sexy.
She brings a toolbox in and goes, right, what are we looking at?
Right
and then, yeah.
Just bloody wake up, mate. That's
Yeah.
all it is. Just bloody wake up.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is weird technology, which is like a bit Matrix X, where you kind of where you get sort of plugged in. You're wearing some weird like sexy muscle suit for some reason.
Yeah. So I don't know why J-Lo has got like massive bosoms in the suit, because like.
Well, I didn't notice, mate. I didn't notice that.
But like the suit has got like huge dunes, mountains, and I'm like,
Maybe those dunes are represented in the dream sequence with the big sand.
because that's how it opens on big sand dunes. I think the little kid, he's faking it, and he's had a look and he's fallen asleep, and now he's dreaming of sand dunes and tanned dunes. But but she that suit, it's a weird sort of rubber. I don't know. It looks kind of X-Men, kind of Cerebrus sort of.
It's very Lord Zed from
It is very
Power
Lord
Rangers,
Zed, yeah.
where it's just basically it's like muscular.
Or like one of those, those raspberry chew things you get, like they're a tube.
Yep.
Twizzler, what are they called?
It's like a load of those, just like
Stitched.
flattened out.
You use those as like cotton.
They never explain it either. They never go, we've got to wear the suit because it like controls
It looks very cool.
the neurons and it never says anything. It just goes, look at the state of this suit.
Yeah.
Look at the state of it.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
And then they're sort of like suspended from the ceiling using these sort of like wires to give them like this sort of weightlessness, and then they're led on like these black blocks, and then that sort of like lowers down.
Yeah.
And they're left there hanging.
Yeah.
and
Those suits
then they
are
get
rubber, so only one person. They can have to be fitted for someone, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't be. I couldn't fit in it. I've got too much of a
You could
belly.
just get in it. It'd be too. And then they get like a wet flannel over their face.
Yeah, waterboarded a bit. I actually I like that aspect where they put because what you do like dead people, isn't it? sort of covered her face. But it's got like little circuitry on it as well to represent technology.
Yeah. I mean, oh god, we're really getting into the nitty gritty of it now, mate. I don't know if I could. I wasn't ready for a deep dive like this.
Yeah, but also they've got 3 of these suits, 3 tables, just for this film. Like it just seems to be just there for that. But okay, so how do we start? So we start with the sand dunes, the dunes. It's like weird.
obsessed with the dunes. So she sort of turns up dressed all
Dooney,
and she's dressed up all nice, and she goes and sees the kid who's in the coma, and he's sort of like going, "Oh, piss off!" And then his face goes a bit weird, goes a bit sort of like,
yeah. He says he's got schizophrenia, I think.
Yeah,
but I don't know why that puts him in a coma. But I don't know.
No. So yeah, basically there's loads of stuff where she wants to reverse the feed and get Baines to come into her mind, which is basically like a J-Lo music video, Jenny from the Block.
Yeah.
And snap him out of it, but they're like, "Oh, we don't know the consequences, for God's sake." And she's like, "Oh,
but
fuck
I've
you
just
guys."
been in this guy's mind, jumping around, and he seems, well, I know he's in a coma, so it probably isn't.
It'd be less dangerous. If anything, stuff in my mind is probably going to be a little bit more stable.
Yeah.
If anything, it's just like a load of flowers and bouncy castles.
Yeah.
That's what I got in my mind.
So she's kind of failing. She's like, he's not coming out or something. They don't want to come out. Like when on like on a Saturday morning, I just don't want to come out of the sleep. It doesn't matter how much J-Lo. I'm not going to do it.
Come on, Luke, get up. It's Saturday. We can do whatever we want. Me and J-Lo. You and J-Lo, sorry.
Yeah.
Let's go to town. Let's go to the local Weatherspoons and drink all day. And you're like, fuck off, J-Lo.
So they say the kid is the kid of people who are funding this entire experiment, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And they're like saying it's not working. He's still like
he's still in a bloody coma.
Yeah, he's still
in a bloody coma. We've pumped a severe amount of money into this, and you still haven't sorted it out. But you've got new shoes, and you've got a lovely new hairdo.
Yeah, and a new rubber suit.
And a new rubber suit. I mean, I think I know where the money's being spent. And J-Lo's like,
yeah. But we get the impression that like she deeply cares about sort of saving kids and bringing them out of comas. That's a special thing. So she goes home. She's not feeling too good. She smokes a doobie in her pants.
Yeah, she smokes a doobie in her pants, and we get a lovely shot of her stood looking in the fridge with her buttocks. I feel like that's at this stage of J-Lo's career. This must have been a contractual thing, where she's in her pants and showing off the posterior, which didn't make her famous, but definitely was part of it.
Well, thematically, it's linked into the rest of the film.
Exactly.
Dunes,
exactly. Dunes all over. Yeah, so we see her in her natural habitat. She's got a cat. That's right, isn't it?
I don't remember the cat, but yeah.
Can I imagine that? There's definitely some sort of animal there.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like a little tiger.
Iguana. I don't know. But then she's not having a good time of it. So then we cut to a serial killer. Well, actually, I think we cut to... It's like a drowned woman in a glass box.
Yeah. So she's just like sort of floating there.
Yeah. And then Vincent D'Onofrio, Carl Starger, he plays, go like kind of moppish sort of hair.
Carl Starger. I feel like whatever he's in, his hairstyle really defines him.
Yeah.
If he's got a shaved head, if he's got a floppy hair. If he's
just a single floppy hair.
Yeah.
Look at that strand fluffing about.
Yes. So he walks in and he has a look at her in the cell, and then she has some weird sort of spasm, doesn't
like
she?
a death spasm.
Blah, blah, blah.
And then he instantly spaffs his pants.
He spaffs his pants immediately. He's like, bloody hell.
Is that what happened, or is it like some sort of seizure? Because I was laughing.
I think it's some sort of seizure, but at the same time, I reckon he spaffs his pants at the same time.
Okay.
It's a seizure! I can't help it! Have you spaffed your pants again, Vincent D'Onofrio? Yes. Yeah, and then we see
Carl.
him preparing like another body, which he's like bleached to fuck.
Oh no, I thought this was the body. I thought like she drowned.
Was it the same body, was it?
I think so. But so he has this really weird. So he gets that body out. If this is how I saw it, he bleaches it. He puts it on a table. He suspends himself from hooks. These tubes in the back of his steel rings in the back of his back. He gets his dog to sit down and start barking as wildly as possible. Rewatches footage of the girl drowning on the TV.
It's ever so specific, isn't it? Like, if you're into that, it's so specific. You're just like,
every sort of added detail, I just couldn't stop laughing. It just got more and more ludicrous. Like, there isn't a Pornhub category for this.
No. If he's like, really fancy a wank today, he's literally gonna be like, for fuck's sake, I've got so much effort to go to.
If someone in his office doesn't go into his office in this film, but like if someone in the office is like, what are you up to tonight, Carl? Yeah, I'm just gonna have a quiet night in actually, and he goes. No one would ever guess that this is what he's planning. Like, if there was a Pornhub category, do you think he wouldn't have done all this? Like, he would have been sated.
Well, it was year 2000, wasn't it? So I don't think pornography was as sort of...
It took too long to load. There was a category, but it just...
There was a category, but my God, on that 56, however many... on his modem, he was like, I'm in the middle of nowhere as well.
And he's like hanging there, trying to... Come on!
Come on!
Yeah,
I've lost it.
It's an interesting guy, this Carl person. Yeah. But we get the impression that he likes pale things and water.
Yeah, he loves pale things and water. What are you into, mate? Well, pale things and like a bit of water as well. Yeah.
It's so specific. Like, you know that saying, like, you put an infinite amount of monkeys in an infinite amount of typewriters, infinite amount of time. I think they'd rewrite the works of Shakespeare, but they wouldn't come up with this guy's.
No, they come up with it, but it'd be they'd have one thing wrong. They're just like.
That's how I get off. I need to see monkeys recreating this thing on a typewriter. Yeah. You have to get it right.
Vincent D'Onofrio suspends himself above a bleached body and jizzes on it. Pretty much.
Yeah. So after that sort of experiment, he finishes. He climaxes, of course, and then
obviously.
So what happens? So I think we introduced Vince Vaughn's detective character, who's after this serial killer.
Yeah. So they find a body like in some shallow water under a bridge.
Yeah.
Covered in
semen.
Covered in semen, bleached to fudge, and obviously Vince Vaughn's doing the classic. He wants to be caught.
Yeah.
I mean, he wants to be caught.
And his name's Novak, which just strikes me as a full-on detective name. He's too obsessed with the case. He carries his toothbrush in his pocket because he's so obsessed with his case. He hasn't got time to go to a sink and brush his teeth there.
Just brush his teeth constantly, and they're like, "You brush your teeth?"
Yeah.
So yeah, they're sort of they sort of discover Stargate quite quickly, don't they? They work out.
They do a couple of they find his parents. Oh, they find, because he's got an albino German Shepherd.
Oh, that's right. They find a hair.
Yeah.
They find a singular hair, and then they find
an albino German Shepherd. Yeah.
I mean, it's some pretty good digging. But when they go to apprehend Stargate, who lives somewhere separate to where he keeps these bodies, that's like a different building. They find him, and he's in the bath.
Yeah.
Having a tug? I don't know with this guy.
I think this time he's having a seizure. I think, and he gets out.
Who's to say which one's which?
This guy, yeah. And he kind of collapses on the floor just as the police and FBI run in, and they're like, "Oh no, he's down." And like, we were gonna have to, like, I don't know, carry him out, but he's got his steel things in his back, so they just sort of grab his back.
They just get a couple of scaffolding poles and just. And as they lift him up, he ejaculates. It's really strange.
Yeah. But now he's in a coma. Classic. Baines, I was going to say. Is that the guy's name at the start? The little kid? I think it's called Baines.
What, the kid at the start of this? Yeah, Edward Baines.
Okay.
Yeah, so he turns up in a coma, and they're like, "What are we going to do?" He's in a coma, and we know for a fact that there's a girl missing.
There's really only one place. If you Google that exact thing, there's only one thing that's going to come up.
Yeah. J-Lo. Just picture J-Lo. Yeah, so they're like, he's in a coma, but he's got another victim somewhere, and they start working out. They find a tape, I think, which shows like the woman in the cell they fill up with water, so they know exactly what they're looking for.
Okay, yeah.
And they just don't know where the fudge it is.
Yeah.
I reckon Carl Steger, he's just faking a coma.
Could be. Yeah. That'd be a pretty good twist if he was. If he just gets up out of the thing at the end.
That'd be good.
Like the Saw music plays.
That doesn't happen.
No,
That didn't happen.
No.
So yeah, so then they basically go, right, actually, we got J-Lo somewhere. She's good at jumping into people's brains
Dream
when
Squad.
they're asleep. Dream Squad. Dream Squad!
Yeah.
Let's get her in. So they do like a proper...
They're all wearing the rubber suits and like, I mean, it's only me that's going in. These guys just like to wear the suit. There's a guy in glasses. Yeah.
So Vince Vaughn sort of like oversees it as J-Lo gets in a rubber suit, and they put Starger in the rubber suit as well. And she basically goes into his nightmare brain, which is like a kinky sex dungeon.
It's like a kingdom as well. Like he's
Kinky sex dungeon kingdom filled with like replicas of like his victims, like their various stages.
It's weird, isn't it? So
there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of weird stuff. Like there's the costume design. This is like insane. There's like a muscular, like woman with a mask on who like.
There's a bit Silent Hilly.
Yeah,
places.
definitely. With all the sort of like weird movements and stuff, and just everyone's just a bit freaky. We forgot to mention that JLo does have a little panic button on her hand.
Okay.
So if things get a bit too real, she can just go beep, and she comes out. It's basically it's the equivalent of the phone in the Matrix, isn't it?
Yeah. So she's like walking around this weird labyrinthine place, and there's like a dog in slow-mo in one room shaking its head. There's a woman with like a cartoon head. It's really like kind of bizarre. And then the bodybuilder woman, who's massive, seriously massive, carries her away in slow motion. It sounds really weird when we're in your dreams. And then she's been kidnapped. Does she escape at this point? Or no?
I think she gets like introduced to Stargate in this world where he's like this big sort of like emperor type thing, and he's got these massive flowing cloak which sort of goes all the way around the wall.
Yeah.
So he's basically like a demonic idealization of this murderous side of him. So we understand after a while that there are two sides to him within this world.
I feel like
he's got schizophrenia.
That's a go-to at this point in crime.
Exactly.
Films.
So there's like a big evil king version of him, but there's also like the child version of him roaming around. Do you remember? There was also a bit as well where she tries to sort of go towards the kid, and there's a horse in the middle of a room.
Oh yeah.
And suddenly these like glass panels come down and separate the horse into like what, like
ghost style. Yeah. But then it's still like breathing, and the organs are still working away.
Yeah.
It's weird. I kind of feel like this world that you go into, the dream world, is not quite horror-y enough, not quite dark enough, but it is kind of dark at the same time. It's weird. It feels like if Clive Barker or Del Toro did it, it would be full-on horror-y. But there'd be like people screaming, a bit more hellish.
There's a lot of ideas sort of all thrown into sort of one place. I think there's a lot of those like, there's a load of cells with a load of different creepy, fucked up things in it, rather than sort of than gradually.
Do you feel like it was too busy and it should have had a bit more of an editorial eye on the design?
It was maybe a little bit too busy. There was a lot going on. We were like, I want to have a look at that. Oh, let's have another look at that. I wonder what's going to happen with that. And
but like, even like the art style. So there's one bit later on where they're like talking, and then like golden animated things started appearing on the screen. And I was like, I don't know. I think it's dreams. So I guess.
Have you seen The Fall?
No.
Tarson's thing as well. So I mean, it's almost like a weird mishmash of like so many different styles. It's like he loves a load of stuff, and he goes, "I love all this stuff, right? I love fantasy. I love science fiction. I love western. I love
like a kid
blah blah blah."
Sat on Santa's knee.
He loves all this stuff, and he's like,
Go on.
"I love muscular women, bodybuilder women. I was going to chuck it all into one big blender and see what comes out." I mean, sometimes you get sort of like. I think the intro of this film is a really good representation of what this film probably should have been. Yeah. But then it's almost like he goes, right, I've got to get a bit darker here because we're in a serial killer's mind.
Do you feel like it shouldn't have been as horror-y then? Like, do you feel like that kind of...
I mean, it could have been horror orientated with having a little bit more focus on the art direction and the style of that.
Yeah.
You know, it should have been one thing or the other. There was just a lot going on, wasn't
it? Felt a bit one foot in each at times. But, I mean, it's still interesting to see, and it's still quite great to watch. I mean, there is some visual stuff. It's really creepy with all it feels like you're looking at classical paintings. Like there's a bit with the King Starga.
Oh yeah,
in his sort
it
of
does
gold
look.
robes and stuff. But so I think she gets out this time, and I think they're saying
Yeah, I think she just
you
she
can
shits herself.
You shit yourself. So
Literally.
yeah, she wakes up, and then it's saying if you forget that this place isn't real, then he can do
Yeah.
damage to your brain or something.
Yeah, you get stuck there. It's basically like getting stuck in what's that bit in Inception, the really deep dive
Sunken place.
sunken place.
I don't
It's,
know.
it's basically just it's basically getting stuck in the sunken place, isn't it? Like you just
Yeah.
can't get out. Your brain's mashed up. So yeah, she decides to go back in with what? With a bit more of a plan this time, maybe to like sort of befriend the little kid version of him. And then when she's in there this time, she sort of sees the abuse he sort of suffered at the hands of his dad.
Oh,
And
yeah,
she's trying
yeah.
to sort of like some sort of connection, make so that Starger can like rely on her.
He's like, I'm a kid and I got abused by my dad. She was like, oh, when I was a kid, I had a dad. Like she's trying to find a way into the.
Yeah,
Into,
yeah, but I got abused by my
empathy.
dad. Yeah, my dad was lovely.
My dad had long hair. And yeah. But so he's telling her about his first murder. And also, a little bit before this, Vince Vaughn practically gives his backstory and says, I was molested as a kid, but without saying it.
Without saying it.
Well, he says, I know that you can be molested and not grow up to be a serial killer.
Okay.
He
Yeah, there we
says,
go.
I can be 100% sure. He says, I can be 100% sure. Like, as in.
There we go. And they go, yeah, but how? How can you be 100% sure?
And points to his bum.
Oh, no. God's sake.
And then he
How
goes,
can you-
I can be sure.
but how
And
can
he
you be
waddles
sure? How
off
can you
the
be-
trousers still. And he's like, of course.
Smooth.
Yeah.
So yeah, then there's a little bit after this where Diane is, sorry, not Diane, Dean, Catherine Dean, Diane. So she's kind of like getting a little bit stuck in the mind where Vincent D'Onofrio is like turning up as, you know, doing loads of horrible shit, and she's getting a little bit stuck there. So Novak, for some reason, is like, I'm going in after her.
Jumps in. Like, you have to
Gets
put the
into one of
stuff
those
on
muscles.
first. Yeah. And he goes in. All guns blazing. And then he gets captured pretty quickly, I think.
Yeah, so he gets captured and he's getting like tortured by this King Starger who's like pulling out his intestines.
On
And stuff.
a rack thing, like a kebab.
Yeah. And then Jennifer Lopez turns up and she's sort of like, she's fully given herself over to Starger now, and she's sort of
Yeah.
this princess looking. She's got, I guess, kind of his servant
Yeah.
/ I don't know.
Yeah. But she starts to remember because as King Starger's pulling out thingy's intestines, he's screaming about how I don't know. I couldn't even hear it because it was quite faint. But he's shouting that something bad happened to her in her life, and this makes her remember who she
Yeah,
is.
and she
the
snaps
world
out of
outside.
it. When it like something like, "Oh, you twat! Remember that time
Yeah.
when you called your teacher mum?
Oh, sorry.
You called your teacher mum that time? That was well embarrassing, wasn't it? Oh yeah! Oh,
It's
I
just
snapped out of it.
cringe moment. Yeah.
But then pretty much like I also find the way that they kind of work this out, where where Seeger's keeping Strager. Sorry, I can't even fucking speak. Strager's keeping this woman. So all throughout this film as well, we're seeing this woman in the cell, and the water
Yeah.
keeps turning on and off, and it's filling up, and she's obviously terrified, can't get out,
Yeah.
trying to find a way out, grabbing various things. So yeah, Novak basically works it out when he's in this glass enclosure. Which he sees in the dreams world. He seems like just like insignia.
Yeah. It's like a logo
obviously-
or something.
Yeah. So when they come out, they basically just start discovering, you know, where this building could be.
That's all you
Well,
need
it's
when you're
probably the logo.
like a bloodhound like Novak. That's all you
Yeah, that's
need.
it. So I mean, JLo's the whole process of JLo going into his brain to kind of befriend the kid and get
Yeah.
a confession is kind of pointless.
Novak should have gone in from the start.
Because all it takes is Novak to go in and go, hang on a minute, there's this insignia there.
Yeah, right, I'm
World's
out.
great.
Done.
World's greatest detective. See you later.
Yeah. But at this point, she wants to save the child version of Starger. So she comes out, locks the doors, rewires the thingamaflibbits, and then she goes back in and pulls him into her mind.
Yeah.
Um,
Get over here into my mind.
and it's all nice, it's all pretty. She's dressed like an angel. It's all really nice and good and that. And then King Starger arrives. I think he does like a weird handstand walk
Yeah,
or something.
he's like a bit scaly. He's a bit scaly Snake Man at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah,
But she beats the fuck out of him and
yeah,
stabs him with a sword.
yeah. And then it kills the kid as well. But then this kills the actual. But it's because there's a whole thing about the baptism thing. So I think what they're saying is that when he was a kid, his parents baptized him in a like a lake. I think they maybe left him in there for too long, and he actually drowned a little, or like got a bit of water in the brain or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then this maybe created the other personality, the schizophrenia. And he's talking about how he once found a bird that was ill, and he thought he couldn't show his dad or something, so he had to drown it. He kind of baptized it to death. He's like, I had to do it because that was the nice thing to do rather than let it live.
Baptized to death.
Yeah. And then I think that's what he's saying to her. You need to baptize me to death, please.
Yeah.
I'll take one of them. And
I'll
she
take one of
does.
them. How much is that? Well, it's free for you.
Yeah. We'll bill your dad.
And at the same time, Novak he helicopters out to this building, which is like what kind of building is it? Like a warehouse type
Water
water treatment place.
Yeah.
Where Starger's been keeping this woman, and he gets her just in time. Vince Vaughn gets down into the cell, finds her. She's basically drowning. He's like, move out of the way. I'm going to shoot the glass. Bang, bang, bang. And then luckily there's another scaffolding pole there
Yeah.
for him to pick up and use and smash it. And he saves her. There we go.
They say I think there's a bit of a coda with they go to Starger's house, and then and then she saves a little kid from the coma. I don't know if he comes out. We don't see that, do we? At the end.
No, I think the final scene is just they do the reverse thing where the little boy comes into J-Lo's world.
Yeah.
And she sort of like gives him a hug. Is that right? Gives him a hug?
I think so. That's pretty much it. Yeah. So he's sort of saved.
So we kind of understand that he's saved and this has worked. And J-Lo, who basically did nothing to help the whole situation of Starger.
She only helped the killer.
No, she only helped the killer. Novak did all the work.
Yeah.
He better be getting a raise, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. But yeah,
but what happened to Gordon? What happened to Gordon Ramsay? Special Agent Gordon Ramsay. What happened to him?
Gorgeous Ramsay. So he became Ozymandias in The Watchmen. I don't think he did, but he's got similar face.
Similar face.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, man.
There we go.
Some trivia for you. You ready?
Yes, I am ready.
Number 1. Tarsem Singh claims which shot of the film was everybody's favourite?
The sand dunes.
Incorrect. It was J-Lo in her undies by the fridge.
So I could have answered that, but it made me look like a right misogynist pervert, which I'm definitely not.
Moving on. Number 2. D'Onofrio. Vincent D'Onofrio passed out while shooting which scene?
When he was hooked.
When he was hooked, jacking off.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's actually doing it. Oh, I've only got 4 questions today. I'll have to make one up.
Oh.
Okay, number 4. I've got one question here about Bird Box, so if you want to do that. Number 4. The 3 women in Starger's dream, in the beach, where they've got the things over their faces, are A, the same actress, digitally replicated, B, triplets, or C, men.
Men, I'm going to go for.
They were triplets, although he says there was no point in using triplets. They took ages to find, and no one who's seen the film can even tell they're the same.
Everyone I thought they were digitally recreated. I just said men because it seemed like a silly
the flippant answer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 5. What did producers tell Tarsem repeatedly not to have Catherine Dean yank on?
Yank on?
Yeah. What did producers tell Tarsem Singh repeatedly not to have Catherine Dean yank on? Do not have her yanking on this.
Don't have her yanking on her. I can't think of anything that was needed to be. Those little hair horns that that Vincent D'Onofrio had. He had these hair horns, didn't he, at one point?
I can't remember that, but yeah, but it wasn't his. He was told repeatedly not to have Dean yank on Starger's nipple piercings during their final battle, and he said, "Okay," and we pulled his tits out. So
I didn't I didn't realise he had nipple piercings.
When he had
Did you?
like the bar. Yeah, he has the bar over his nipples,
Oh, yeah,
and then when
yeah,
she
that's
turns into a
good.
warrior
Oh yeah,
woman,
she rips it out, doesn't she?
she doesn't. Yeah, she yanks on it, and his like his boobs come up.
Oh god,
Yeah.
that did look painful, didn't it? I went,
Yeah.
ah!
Yeah. Yeah, well done, man.
Great
You got
banter.
4 out of 4. Well done.
Oh, yes.
So you've got to rate the film though.
Oh, ah. See, when I saw this before, I remember quite liking it and going back to it. I kind of thought, oh yeah, I'm gonna enjoy this, but it didn't do all that much for me. It wasn't like, oh, it's a hidden gem or like
No.
a film that. So I'm pretty lukewarm on this one. Luke Condor warm.
I'm Luke.
This
Cold
one,
in
I'd
the
probably
garage,
go
yeah.
for just a C. I think C for sell.
Okay. I'm going to go a little bit higher than that. I think it was okay. But the visuals is something that kind of saved it. And I thought D'Onofrio's performance was pretty good. And, you know, how often do you get to see a man suspended from a ceiling whilst his dog's barking above a bleached waterlogged body?
The answer to that is not often enough.
Not often enough, exactly. Yeah. So I was going to give it a C+. It earned that plus at the point where he was jacking off on the roof.
It was just one of those where I feel like if it was a little bit more, you know, the plot was a little bit more complicated and the twists taken, and you know, there was a bit like, oh, that's interesting, or oh wow, they've really gone above and beyond to find this killer. The fact that he just went,
Yeah.
there's a bloody logo there, and I'll recognise that logo from the figure. That's pretty much it.
It felt pretty paint by numbers, the plot, in some ways. But and the visuals were great, but I kind of just felt like it needed someone who's got a really good visual eye to sort of fine tune it and say, don't put that in because that's
Yeah,
put
it was a
more
bit
of
all over
that.
the place.
Yeah.
It was a bit all over the place, really, wasn't it? Yeah.
yeah.
Oh well.
Oh well, yeah. So next week we're going to be doing number 98 on IGN's list, which is, do you know what it is? I can tell you. It's not.
Is it Black Swan?
It is Darren Aronofsky's Black Swan.
Well, do you know what? This is going to be a really good double feature because we're going to do Black Swan, and I'm assuming the week after we're going to do the new Suspiria because that is out.
Okay,
So it'll
yes.
be interesting to watch those kind of back to back.
Yeah.
Maybe not actually back to back. That might fuck you up.
It might fuck you up. But yeah, that'd be cool, man. This show is brought to you by Hawk and Cleaver. Head over to hawkandcleaver.com. Become a patron over at patreon.com/Hawk and Cleaver. Thanks to Kovacs Cameron for our theme music. Thanks to Acast for hosting the show. Thanks to the listeners. You are very cool people. And thanks to my co-host, Ben, for being a right or a dude.
Thank you, Luke.
My co-host. This is weird.
Me co-host. Thanks to me co-host being right or a dude.
No worries.
Thanks, Luke.
Cool, man. All right.
See you
I'm
soon.
going to go. Bye.